I need your help to listen to the sounds and help me find...
Invisible woman.
I know! She's...
In the back line.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
Where's...
Invisible woman.
In the...
Front line.
Yes! You found...
Invisible woman.
I'm not the type who fades quietly into the background.
Invisible Woman's primary fire is orb projection. This attack sends a fast-moving projectile forward until it reaches a maximum distance of 30 meters and returns to the player. The orb pierces enemies and allies and is capable of hitting them on the way back and forward, allowing her to effectively double her damage and healing. The orb deals 20 damage per hit and heals for 40 HP per hit, which means she is capable of doing 40 damage and 80 healing per shot. However, orb projection is unable to critically hit. This is Sue's main form of healing and will see constant use in a fight. Its ability to pierce targets makes it invaluable in situations where enemies and allies are stacked on top of each other. Its range, while generous, can sometimes be an issue in more long-distance focused compositions, so be aware not to position yourself too far away from allies. Additionally, Sue's primary fire is capable of being animation cancelled when alternating between firing and meleeing, allowing her to greatly increase her DPS output. Sue's right-click ability is Guardian Shield. This ability creates a 300 HP shield in front of a targeted ally that blocks damage and slows enemies that pass through it by 30% for 3 seconds. Additionally, the shield heals allies within a 3-meter radius for 50 HP a second. The shield lasts indefinitely until it is cancelled by Sue or destroyed by an enemy. When destroyed, the ability goes on a cooldown for 6 seconds. If Sue chooses to cancel the ability, the shield will go on cooldown for 1 second per 50 HP it lost. Sue's shield is an extremely versatile ability. With proper use, she can use it to enable allies to take more aggressive angles, protect allies in dangerous positions, set up healing zones back for later use, or even block enemy ultimates. Sue's E is Force Physics. Upon casting, Sue sends out a 1.5 meter cylinder with a range of 30 meters to either push enemies away 12 meters or pull them in for 7 meters, while also dealing 55 damage. After casting this ability, it goes on cooldown for 8 seconds.
I figure on the plus side, my memoirs will be excellent. On the downside, I'll probably end up medicated in a bathrobe, and once a month when you—
Vortex field!
What did you do?
I don't know.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
Well, should we go back?
No.
Sue's shift is Psionic Vortex. This ability sends out a projectile at a speed of 80 meters a second. When the ability hits an enemy, hits an object, or is reactivated, it creates a spell field with a 5-meter radius. The spell field lasts for 4 seconds and deals 35 damage per second. Additionally, it slows and pulls in enemies, the effect being stronger against enemies near the center. The ability also has the effect of pulling flying enemies downward, although this effect can be a bit difficult to hit. Psionic Vortex is an extremely good ability on an already standout kit. You'll find yourself using this constantly to prevent enemies from escaping and for extra damage while trying to secure a kill. Covert Advance is Sue's passive ability that triggers when she has not performed any damaging actions or been damaged for a few seconds. The passive makes her completely invisible to enemies and heals her for 20 HP per second, but it does not muffle her footsteps, so be aware when positioning aggressively. Covert Advance is also triggered by her double jump ability, Veiled Step. Veiled Step allows Invisible Woman to trigger an additional longer distance jump that also triggers her passive, allowing her to quickly reposition and hide from threats. A major thing to remember when using Sue's invisibility is that she will be completely unable to contest objectives, so make sure to perform an action when you're pushing objective alone. Another thing to note is that when using Veiled Step, an enemy can see the general direction of where Sue jumped. So mid-team fight, you may find more aware players shooting towards where they expect you to land. Sue's team-up ability is Fantastiforce. It provides Sue an additional 15% healing to all of her abilities and allows the Thing, the Human Torch, and Mr. Fantastic to activate an ability that grants them bonus health, making the overall team comp much more survivable. Sue's ultimate is Invisible Boundary. Upon cast, this ability creates a large cylindrical spell field with a radius of 10 meters and a height of 40 meters that lasts for 8 seconds. Allies within the spell field are completely invisible to enemies outside of the spell field, and they receive 165 healing per second. On top of that, enemies that enter the spell field are slowed by 55% for 1 second and are intermittently invisible to their allies outside of the circle. Sue's ultimate is one of the strongest in the game. The healing over time makes it useful for securing an area or preventing large amounts of damage caused by an enemy DPS ultimate. Another unique fact about Sue's ultimate is that she is not required to be in the location she cast it at. allowing her to cast it from faraway points of safety, making dying due to a one-shot ability and losing the ultimate very unlikely when compared to characters like Cloak and Dagger and Lunar Snow. In addition to her abilities, Sue's kit also has a few techs that benefit her a lot. The first is the ability to cancel animations with her melee attack or with Psionic Vortex. This allows her to greatly increase her damage potential against close-range characters. An example of a quick assassination combo she can perform would be Pull Vortex, shoot melee, shoot melee, shoot melee, which should be enough to kill most non-tanks. Her second notable tech is the bunny hop. After using her double jump, Sue can keep her forward momentum by successfully hitting the jump button again as soon as she hits the ground. This can be performed more easily on mouse and keyboard by binding jump to the scroll wheel. In conclusion, Sue Storm is an extremely survivable strategist with an honestly extremely overloaded kit that allows her to make the most out of almost every situation. I would recommend her most in brawl or rush compositions due to all of her abilities requiring her to be somewhat close to enemies, and her primary fire benefiting massively from players being stacked on top of each other. I would also recommend her for players that like a more aggressive upfront playstyle or for DPS players wanting to try out the strategist category. I hope all of you enjoyed the video, and I would like to thank you all for watching. If you have any suggestions for other character guides, leave them down below. If there's any information you think I got incorrect or that I left out of the video, please comment down below so I can rectify it in a pinned comment.